At 5 p.m. on a Saturday, you know the only thing worth doing is tuning into City TV for Hall of Fame. My name is AJ Sarpong, and it's a pleasure to be on your screens this evening. Tonight, as I usually do, I'm going to sit down with one of your favorite personalities, ask them some intriguing questions, maybe settle the rumors or so, clarify headlines, and of course, play a game or two or three or so. And definitely going to be a bundle of laughs. I'm excited to bring to you today's episode because I'm sitting with someone I personally love. He's fantastic with what he does, and when I come back from this quick break, I'll be telling you all about him. Of course, we are shooting from the Apartmento Hotel here in Airport Residential Area, and we must say a big thank you to them for allowing us to do so. So stay with us right here on Hall of Fame. When we come back, I'll be telling you about my guest. You're tuned in to Hall of Fame right here on City TV with yours truly, AJ Sarpong. I'm really excited to tell you about my guest for today. He's someone who is using his voice to draw souls to God. He has broken the jinx, which was otherwise there about a gospel artist winning Artiste of the Year at the VGMAs. He's gone on to win even more numerous awards, brought out even great bodies of music, and according to Apple Music, was part of the 100 albums of the year 2018. He is none other than, well, take a look at this.
You're worthy, Jesus. Brethren, I just want to talk about the goodness of Jehovah to me. When I think about his goodness, all I want to say is that glory be to his name. Ishran come with thee, and Nasin come with thee, and come for and tum and Shiba. Hey, we just want to bless you, Jesus. When I think about that, I don't want to say this. Listen. And your name goes through him. I see that King Nakupon.
And my guest is none other than the phenomenal Joe Mettle. It's such a pleasure to have you here, Joe.
It's a pleasure being here.
I'm really excited to get into this conversation with you.
Okay.
Yeah. You're welcome to Hall of Fame.
Hall of Fame.
This is all,
but I'm
and
not
you.
that famous.
Oh, you think?
I'm learning from you.
But first of all, let's start off with rewinding all the way to the beginning.
Okay.
Firstly, how did music start for you? Did you get a calling? Was it someone that said, you know what, you have a good voice? Did you start from the church? What really was it?
I think I've always known that I wanted to do music, first of all. Didn't know how I was going to start. I loved music from a younger age. And from that time on, when I realized that, you know, I loved it and I could also do it, I started following a few friends who were also in the music I would say ministry. I learned a few things from them, and then at a point in time, I wanted to step higher. Then I was a drummer. I was just a drummer. I wasn't singing. So I sang once in a while, but not as often as, you know, I wanted to. And so it got to a point when I started singing, you know, and then I decided to join a few groups here and there. The whole point for me from the beginning was more of just the work. It had nothing to do with ministry whatsoever.
Really?
Even though I was in the church then, because I didn't really understand back then what it was for me, or what God wanted me to do, or what the music itself meant for me. So I just knew that I could do it, so I was just doing it, and that was all it was. Until I got revelations, you know, as to what God wanted me to do, some from dreams and other things, and confirmations from, you know, men of God and other things as to what God wanted me to do. And so that was when I decided to take it more serious than I was already doing it. And so I started serving with other musicians here and there just to be able to learn what my ministry was about and what the gift was about, you know. And that was when I started with with Cindy Thompson, and then I was with Cindy Thompson for a couple of years. Then I worked a bit with the late minister Danny Nete too for a couple of years. Then joined the all-male group Soul Winners for another few years, and then went solo as Joe Mettle.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you started with drumming. So the career wasn't entirely like becoming an artist in the beginning.
No.
What was it? When did that change, and how did your support system take it?
So for me, like I said, it was just the love for music. It started from that point until God, you know, showed me that He had bigger plans for me. He had other plans for me than just enjoying what I do, rather than being used to impact and bless lives. And so that was when I started taking it more serious than just playing and, you know, being paid. To more like learning about it, you know, waiting on God, for God to show me what He wanted me to do. Songs I started writing, you know, so I was just learning all over the place, spending more time with God, spending more time in prayer, in anticipation for what God wanted to do with me. And then when the time was right, I just moved into it.
Wow. How did your support system? How were your parents? Because usually, I don't think at that particular point in time, a lot of parents dream for their kids to be artists. They will be more lawyer, doctor, engineer, that kind of thing. How did they take it when you said?
I had a very funny childhood where the kind of like relationship I had with my parents and where I grew up from, the thing is, you had nothing really to lose because we couldn't afford a lot of the stuff anyway. So whatever I decided to do, so far as it's not going to be trouble home, you know, I had the support of my parents. But even growing up, I still went to school to study other things. So it wasn't too much of a problem because I was still studying architecture then till I decided that I wasn't going to do that anymore. And at a point in time, too, I moved out of the house for a while. Right. So I think that also helped for me to pursue the music because then they didn't know what I was doing. They just knew I wasn't going to bring problem. And through that time, I decided to, you know, study more, do all the stuff. And then after a few years when I decided not to do the architecture anymore because I couldn't combine it with the music and I couldn't also afford the fees and stuff, I came home just doing regular stuff in the music, and then when I could afford it, by God's grace, I went back to school, but this time not to study architecture, but then went to do marketing. So I still, if there's anything at all, I still did something they would have loved for me to do, just that I don't get to use it with the paper. I use the mind, I don't use the paper.
Okay, we can do that, but how would you describe your style of music?
I think I do more of praise and worship, I would say. Maybe there's the main thing is praise and worship. That's what it is. The others are just a few styles that I'm able to blend with it. So it's mainly gospel and praise and worship. I'll call it gospel. Because the message is what normally makes the music. There's the rhythm, but then the message is what makes it the genre of music that you sing. So.
Okay. Now let's go into your life or your entry as a solo artist. Describe to me the process of, you know, saying that what triggered you saying, okay, it's time for me to go on my own and become Joe Mettle the artist instead of Joe Mettle the part of the group. Okay,
so I would say that even when I was with Soul Winners, I knew my path was different.
Okay.
With respect to what God wanted me to do, I just didn't know what time He wanted me to. I mean, I'm very sensitive to timing and what God wants me to do because I know if I miss it, then everything will be messed up. And so during the time I was with them, I didn't know when God wanted me to move, but I went to school. So when I went to school, it started being a problem for the group because then sometimes they had to go for a program and I would have a class or an exam or something. So sometimes I asked them permission to go for class and they also needed to go for the event. So it started being a problem. So during that time, I spoke to them that if it's possible, we can get another lead singer who can probably work with me. So sometimes when I'm not there,
the person can do it. Right.
So it will be more of a group face than an individual face. So that's what we started doing. They gave more a few more songs to one of the other guys that led songs to, which was a keyboard player then. And it got to a point they were doing it without me. Sometimes I had to go for lectures, they would still go for an event. You know, it kept happening like that for a while. So, but when I was done with school, I was convinced that I was supposed to move a different direction. But by then they were already moving on their own, so I didn't have to go back in. So I distract them or anything. So that was when. So
it was like a mutual parting. Like,
yeah,
okay.
Yeah. So we're still cool. I mean, once in a while I go there, you know, we do our own thing.
Okay. You were nominated for Artist of the Year, which was a big deal. I mean, the people perceived a jinx with the gospel music industry that we maybe sometimes we are nominated, sometimes we get there, but never do we truly cross that line and win. And you finally were able to do that. How was it the build up to the VGMAs on that particular year? And what was the feeling or what went through your mind when your name was announced on that stage?
It was, how do I put it? It was a good feeling. At the same time, it was uncomfortable.
Okay.
In the sense that you had people say stuff they didn't have to say necessarily, but because of the competition, they put you in that place where gospel and then they say stuff. But it got to a point when I realized that what was happening was beyond me. The support was not just people who loved my music. It became the gospel industry. Then it became the Christian community, and it became the nation. You know, so the whole nation started towing that same line, and that was when I realized that, you know what, this thing is way beyond me, and God was up to something. So I just chilled and just watched Him do His own thing. And when I saw the results, I was blown away. You know, that if they put all the other nominees together, my vote was still higher than all that put together, and that wasn't normal. That tells you that, you know, it was beyond what everybody thought was going to happen. And it felt like the people that were like, oh, it's not possible, by the time they realized it was possible, it was too late to do anything about it. You know? So it was a win for the industry. That's what I would say. It was a win for the whole industry, not just me.
And on that night, I was in the conference center on that particular evening. And then they got on stage and said, okay, Artist of the Year, Joe Mettle.
Except for the first time. That was when you knew that it was spoken.
What went through your mind immediately that your name was announced?
Oh, wow.
And then what happened getting on that stage? And how was it the day after?
Oh, the day after, like, social media was bars and phones, you know, everything. Like, but for me, it was more of a grateful moment that because most people don't know where I'm coming from. They just assume that it's just a breakthrough. But for me, it was more of a thankful and grateful moment for me, because I know I didn't expect that I'll get this far. Even though I knew God could do anything, I've seen Him take me from nowhere all the way to that point. So for that to be possible in my life it made me so grateful to God, and it made me even more serious about what I was doing, you know. And that was how, within the year of the win, when so many things were happening, like people were saying stuff.
Yes.
And the thing is, because some of the people don't understand what I do, and they will never understand what I do, in the sense that it's not just about the industry. I have a ministry as well, and I have a path that God has given me to follow, things to listen to. So sometimes, even though some of my methods may not necessarily fall under the usual industry arrangement, it still always works out, because there's something more behind it that sometimes people don't get, you know. And so I remember that time, so when you're an Artist of the Year, blah, 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 there are expectations of you, releases and other things. But I couldn't release anything because I won Artist of the Year. Because before the beginning of the year, I had a plan. And I had to follow the plan. I can't break it because I won. Because I didn't know that I was going to win Artist of the Year. So if, let's say, it was part of my plan that I was going to win Artist of the Year, I would have added it to the year's plan. Because what was going to happen is then you will break your plan and everything will be messed up for the rest of the year. And I can tell you for a fact that because I also followed it, it gave me, I would say, the biggest song of actually my career, which is Bononi. So imagine that I said that, okay, because pressure is coming.
You have to now start releasing back-to-back hits.
And there were so many things that were said about the fact that whenever anybody wins Artist of the Year, their career
sort of goes down, yeah.
And indirectly, I think I also picked up something from it in the sense that whenever the people win, there's so much pressure from the industry. So instead of also they following what they have as a plan, they feed the industry with the demands. And then they run out of what they have to do for the year. So you'd realize that probably at the beginning or middle of the year, you've literally released
all the hits that you could possibly get.
And then getting to the latter part, then people start hitting you with it and all that. But I didn't have to allow it, get to me or whatever. And I'm grateful. It was hard. It wasn't easy, but I think we went through it.
Were you disappointed you didn't get to defend your title, or you weren't able to defend the title and keep it?
No. It wasn't a title. So it's not like boxing. Yeah, I believe that, and because I'm apart from the fact that I'm in ministry, I'm also a musician. So I believe when somebody does good works, like the year of review, they worked hard. Yeah, they deserve it.
You tune in to Hall of Fame right here on City TV with yours truly, AJ Sarpong. My guest today is the phenomenal Joe Mettle. He's telling us everything about music, life, and everything in between. Now, congratulations to you. Apple Music, when named in the top 100 albums of the year 2018, named yours as part.
Oh, wow.
Yes. Oh, yeah. It's so exciting. Oh, my God. But how do you react knowing that your music is not just loved in the shore, like in Ghana, but has moved beyond the shores and is the top stream 100 albums?
Oh, it's a blessing. If you ask me, I would say it's a blessing. There are things that sometimes I tell myself, like, I'm just so favored. Not because I've done anything, but God just favors me. In a lot of things, and it's a reason why I'm able to also tell other people it is possible with Him. With the way the Bible says it, with God all things are possible. And so sometimes when I have colleagues and stuff complaining about certain things that it's not possible, I'm able to tell them it's possible because God has done it through me. Then it's possible that He will do it through them as well. And so I feel really humbled and blessed by these achievements. Apple Music is. It's a lot of this thing.
Absolutely.
This thing I can't say.
So the more they stream, the more cash comes into the pocket.
I had something. I don't know how true that is, but I had that 1,000 streaming, like a 1,000 stream amount to an album. I don't know how true that is.
Wow.
I don't know how true that is. Somebody said that if that's true, you need a lot to make a lot. And an album is like what, like $10 or sometimes $9.99, depending on how many songs you have up there. Yeah. So if 1,000 streams
just make up for that $10,
an album, that's 10. So you need like a lot. You need millions.
Wow.
To be able to make something good out of it.
Eesh.
But I don't know how true the 1,000 to an album thing is. Whether it's true or not.
We'll pray on it. God will make a way. Absolutely. So coming into the gospel music industry as a whole, are there structures put in place? Like, for at least in the secular music industry, they always complain the structures are not put in place, there's nothing going on, the opportunity to make money is not available because the structures haven't been built yet. Is it the same thing when it comes to the gospel music industry? I
think if they're complaining about structures, they're complaining about the structures in the music industry
as a whole.
So there's nothing gospel or secular about it. It's the general music industry.
Okay.
People don't get like value for the work they put in with respect to royalties and other things. You know that thing where they say we're doing our best, and so our best should be enough for you, which I get because they're trying to say that before there was nothing. Now they've been able to bring up something, but some of the figures. Imagine that you are a musician and the royalty you get per year is probably like 1,000 or 1,500.
Can you imagine?
And that's royalty. And royalty is supposed to actually make you more money than sales. Yeah. So if you're making 1,000 a year, that's in 10 years you make what, 10,000. So it makes it hard for some of the musicians to sort of like survive. So it means that you would have to adjust it with other things to make it move. And so I think when the complaints are coming, it has to do with the general music structure, not just gospel.
Okay.
Yeah.
But does the industry pay?
It depends. When you say the industry pays, how do you mean?
Do you earn enough?
I would say yeah. And like I said from the beginning, ours is not just what we do with respect to the music. Our concentration is to make impact. Our concentration is to bless lives. And so for me, where that comes from is the fact that we take care of the kingdom, God takes care of us. Because it's not sometimes the music that gives us what we have, but for some weird reason, God always has a way that, because if we check what we make compared to what we live on or what we spend, they don't match. And so it's just the blessing of the Lord, if you ask me. And so ours goes beyond just what we earn to trusting God that He will take care of you whilst you do His work. So sometimes when people are complaining, that, then God just opens some door somewhere. Somebody say, "Oh, I was touched by your music the last time. God bless you," and then they send you something. So
God is
all
good.
That, all the time, all the time. So it goes beyond just what we earn. God takes care of us. I'll say.
Okay. Now about the secular gospel music industry. Some people who were in the secular music industry decide to make a switch into the gospel music industry. Some switch back, namely for example. What are your views on those that do move from one industry to the other? And what are your thoughts on those that in some peculiar situations decide to go back into the world?
Okay, I would say that sometimes I don't know what they hear that makes them decide to switch, and so that makes it really difficult for you to be able to comment on why they decide to come back again in, because I may not know. Sometimes it's easy to sit somewhere and assume, but one thing too I would say is that, you see, the gospel thing is not just music. When you see it that way, you sometimes get disappointed as well. You know, maybe that may be the explanation for he deciding to go back again to, you know, the secular music, because you will assume that, hey, maybe I want Omuniska. Sometimes you are deceived by how the person is moving back and forth. It means that the whole point is because it's a ministry, when money becomes your focus in the gospel system, it's not just even losing weight. You will be disappointed. You really be disappointed, because God cannot be mocked. Like, that's the whole point. God cannot be mocked. So He knows whether you are in for the right reasons or the wrong reasons or whatever. But sometimes it's hard. Like, when you come into it, things you may have a right heart doing what you're doing there, but then you would have to get the understanding as well, because you need to be patient. If you're not patient enough for God to do what He wants to do, over time you realize that because you had expectations, when they are not met, you realize maybe it's not working and you want to move on.
Okay.
So there are a lot of reasons. There are people who necessarily didn't come from secular. They are gospel musicians. But over time they realize that, Charlie, I can't sustain myself doing this. The whole point is it goes beyond just work. It's a calling. It's a ministry. Until you see it that way, you would give up along the way. We always don't. It's not always rosy. Like, there are times where we lose a lot. We put in a lot where we don't get anything back. But in our hearts, we are fulfilled knowing the fact that we've done what God asked us to do. And sometimes it feels like a test. God will say, "Do this," and you see my hand. You do it, and for a while you don't see His hand. If you don't take care, you start complaining. But we're patient knowing that you can't. It's like you can't invest in Him and lose. It's not.
No matter what, there'll be a payday. He
will come through for you when you least expect it. So.
Okay. Now, to churches, New Age prosperity churches. Now, there are a lot of people that are now getting wary, because there seems to be a lot of New Age modern churches that their focus is not entirely on the word of God or winning souls, but more of making profit. At least that's what it appears to some people that are observing from the outside in. There's a lot more emphasis on selling, of making money, of paying to see the pastor, paying to be counseled, paying the highest to get the blessing, sometimes in weird cases. what are your views as someone who is a part of the ministry in general when you see these new age prosperity churches?
Let me make this point clear that prosperity or preaching prosperity in itself is not anything new. The Bible says, He says, "I wish above all things that you prosper, even as your soul prospereth." It's parts of it. At the same time, even though sometimes these things come up, the fact that we have good ones doesn't mean everyone will be good. There would be some bad nuts amongst them. But the Bible has already taught us as Christians. The challenge is the people not reading the word and not studying the word. The Bible says, by their fruits you will know them. So if you have the Spirit of God in you, you will know them by their fruits, not to go there. So sometimes you don't blame the people that do that. Blame the people that go there. Do you understand? So let's say I'm selling Entos, Apro. Mimi Tontos. Like, you decide to buy it or not to buy it. So for me, I would say the people that go there are the ones that needs to go back to the word, know, and be sensitive enough to know where they are. Is it God that's there or something else that's there? Once you're able to tell that, you'll be able to, save yourself from anybody duping you or anybody leading you astray.
Now, even apart from the preaching of prosperity or emphasis on that or making money from the church, another thing that seems to have cropped up quite often is fear-mongering, sometimes with doomsday prophecies about death, about destruction, aimed at certain personalities. Some of them come to pass, others not so much. And a lot of people would assume that when God reveals, He reveals to redeem. So there would be an opportunity for you to be able to pray and reverse whatever it is that may be set out to come towards you. But a lot of people seem to be taking advantage of it and are pushing that agenda quite often. Your views on the prophecies, or sometimes the doomsday prophecies in general, and it's being now aimed at personalities and seeming to cause quite a bit of a racket, especially when it's put out on social media.
It comes back to the same answer. You need to know who you are. You need to know you are in Christ. You need to know what He said about you, what He's made you, the promises over your life. The devil never chases anything that's already damaged, or the devil never chases anyone that is already destroyed, or anyone that's like how do I call it, wasted. He's seen some light there, so he wants it. He wants the person, so he'll go after the person. The devil is always going about after people. I've had countless prophecies from people. The fact that about probably maybe years ago, I saw you this, I saw this, that, I saw death, this, I saw. And I'm like, since I was growing up, there's always been that part of death. So death will always be after. Whatever you do, you will die. You will die at a point. Everybody will die.
True.
But when these revelations come, they're just, God reveals them, like you're saying, so that people know about it, stand in the gap. There's times that the revelations are supposed to caution the people to be careful about certain things. There are times that you keep doing something and you always walk away with it. God reveals it to somebody and say, you know what, if you don't stop this, this is the end of it. And so sometimes the prophecies are to caution the people to be careful, are to caution the people to stand in the gap and pray, are to caution the people to know how they live their lives, where they go, and some of the things they do. And so that's basically what it is. Certain times people receive prophecies and it's like there are directions given in addition to that. But they are not to explore people. They are not to scare people. You get scared when you don't know who you are in Christ. Because if Christ lives in me and He allows something like that, and it means that He allowed it, so be it. But if I'm His and He's revealed it, it will be dealt with. Because I know the power, I know the one that lives in me, and so I can stand on my grounds and trust Him that He's going to save and deliver me from that revelation. He's going to save me from that plot or that plan that is ahead. So after I know about it, then the next thing I'll do is, whilst praying, I take care, I take caution. So then let's say somebody says, I had a revelation that you've been poisoned, or I had a revelation that you've had an accident. First of all, I'll pray about it so God protects me. That's one. Two, I'll be cautious. I won't just eat anywhere. Or if I'm driving, I'll be more careful, even though it's not being careful or driving carefully that's going to save me.
Yeah.
But it would help. Imagine that I've been prophesied on that I'm going to have an accident. And I'm still driving reckless. If I'll fast forward the prophecy crack, that's what I'm going to do. Yeah. So these are what the prophecies are supposed to do, but not to shake people and it's like live in fear if, you know.
But what about those that come after the event has happened? So we've had a few personalities who've passed on, and after it's happened is when men of God will now come and now put on social media and say, I saw it, and this is when I said it in my church, but I didn't approach the person because I assumed by seeing it in my church, whatever it is.
I don't know, man. Man, it's a lot.
Charlie?
It's a lot. They'll be fine.
last we'll do okay. Okay, so we're gonna go quickly into another part and about the industry and the support it gets. Do you think other stakeholders such as government are doing their bit to support the music industry in general?
No.
How can they help?
I think it comes back to structures. It comes back to structures. It comes back to investment. Because there's something that is going out there, like it's back and forth. I know even all of us, they've sent letters and stuff to us to come, you know, like let's say from GRA, you have to report.
Yes.
They want you to file your earnings for the last few years. When you're doing events, they come there, take tickets, percentages, and all that. But from my knowledge of traveling around, what I know is countries that take taxes from an industry invest back into the industry. So if you're not investing in the industry and you are taking from the industry, you're killing it. Because what will happen is over time, the people, what they work for, you take it back from them. So, but you don't put anything back there. So you go to South Africa, for instance, there are halls that are built by the state. They've built it, they've done stuff to it. People who are on the South African music, associations and stuff, because the person is South African, they get like good rates just to be able to afford to do events in these halls and stuff. The system has strengthened the royalty system and everything. So copyrights and everything, they are paid well. So an industry like that, when you're taking money from them, you take it from them to fix what they benefit from. But when it's taken from them and nothing is fixed from that side, it's not helping anyone. So you realize that sometimes, let's say you do an event and a percentage is taken from probably your ticket proceeds or something. And checking your expenses for the event. The ticket, first of all, is not going to pay for the expenses in the first place. Like you're saying, from the beginning, you're already having corporates.
Practically no corporate.
And then the little that the ticket will support, a huge percentage is also taken from it.
For taxes.
To a point where even complimentary tickets of people that sometimes
are taxed on.
You know, like some of these people, you are just trusting God that one day God will touch their heart to sponsor or help you. So you are giving. He said you give the thing to them for free, but the government is not giving it for free. And then taxes are taking, and the percentage is high, 17.5 is high to take for a ticket proceed. At least consider the price they printed even the tickets with. And
the fact remains, even the venues are still given to you at exorbitant rates.
My point exactly. Conference center rents the hall, rents the foyer. How? And the rates are ridiculous. You know, so my point is, I don't have a problem when all these things are being charged from the music. I don't have a problem. Me, I'm owing like a lot of money. So this thing that I've come to say, I'll get. It means that by Monday morning I'll get a call. I'll be summoned to the GRA office. But my thing is, it's a good thing. If taxes are paid, we'll be able to build the nation. But my thing is, once it's being taken, the industry should be cared for. There's like nothing. I mean, what investment would you say the government has made into the music industry? Give me one or two investments. I'm saying investments.
I can't. If you had at least even seen a venue that had been built,
a venue would change a lot. I think a venue would change a lot. But let's give it time. Maybe over time it would work.
What about the media? Does the media support?
Media has been supportive. I think that some years ago it was difficult, but lately the media has been supportive. If I go and say anything about the media, I get a lot of trouble. But because I think the media has been really supportive of the industry. Sometimes I think some of the challenges, there are a few challenges, but majority of the people in the media just support. If they love what you do, if they believe in it, they'll just support you. I think I've had a few people tell me that sometimes the reason they also don't get to push some of the music and stuff is because they think to them, some of the songs are not nice to them.
Wow.
So maybe I give them a song like, Charlie, sure for this song. It doesn't fit my playlist. Maybe that's why they don't play it. But it doesn't mean this. So I know most media people that support a lot. Yeah.
Social media, do you think it's helped or hindered the gospel music industry?
I think social media has helped. Most of our music getting abroad and people like patronizing our music and all those things came through social media. You get like a francophone who doesn't even understand Chi, just gets to hear of your song and they say, I'm blessed by this. If not for social media, most of these places our music wouldn't have been able to reach there. Not only that, I think that social media has what helped for us to know that iTunes exists, this exists. We can use these markets, we can use these distributors. It's all been helpful through social media. So it's helped. At the same time, it has its downsides too. Because then, back in the day, it was difficult for you to just duplicate music unless it's on a CD. So when I see it on a CD, I'll know that you didn't buy the original CD. But this time, there are pen drives, there's online, like people. So the social media is making people able to, like the whole internet, people can now, by their own free will,
take
the song that you
did,
said it's my song or something, whatever, they put it for free
and
download.
Streaming from
and so those are some of the downsides, but I think it's helped more than it's destroyed. Yeah.
Okay, I like that. Well, we're gonna go on a quick break. When we come back, even more with the man Joe Mettle. More about his music, more about what his plans are for 2019, and everything else in between. Stay with us. This is Hall of Fame.
Get the backstory of the major news stories on Press Conference. Hear from the editors and the reporters behind the biggest stories of the week.
The university needs to think and reconsider. There are women who are in our universities who have been sexually molested for grades. That doesn't matter.
Press Conference, every Sunday at 9 p.m. with Duke Mensa Opoku, only on CTTV.
Okay, you're tuning into Hall of Fame with me, AJ Sarpong. My guest is Joe Mettle. And going back into the question I was asking before break, do you think social media has given people delusions of grandeur, making them seem that, or making it seem to people that are viewing their pages, their stories, whatever it is, that they are more important or have more money than they assume?
Oh, definitely. I think sometimes people allow social media to control their lives. I mean, you have no idea the number of people that actually, even to a point where in other parts of their lives, compare and demand that from other places. You know, you did this for that person, you didn't do it for me. So many things. In our generation, like, we literally allow social media to control our lives. Like, sometimes those are the negative things that sometimes it happens. One time somebody was arguing with me over some social media thing. I said, you realize that it's somebody's page and they'll be making their money off what is happening. So he's just sitting somewhere laughing at us, arguing about something I didn't write or something I didn't post.
Yeah.
You know, so it's troubling a bit. It's troubling a bit. I want the best shoes because I see that person. I want a better car because sometimes you don't even realize that those people, they don't really have the things.
Chale?
Like, people can make you see something about them on social media that they are not. Something they think they have that they don't have. You know, so it's just, it's helped, but like I said, it has a downside as well.
Absolutely. Now, 2019, I mean, I'm sure there's going to be a whole lot that you have in store for. Tell me about the new single that you just put out.
So we just released a new single we call Minhiawu Yesu. I believe that in this day and age that we live in this time we live in, everyone needs Jesus. Like, you need Jesus at the point. Sometimes it's funny how people say, oh, they complain and everything, but when the flight is about to crash, you even hear people who say they don't believe. They mention the name of Jesus.
Sure.
But one of the things I always say is that sometimes you don't know He's all you need until He's all you have. Because why would you leave the relationship that you can have with Him to, depend on others and other people and other things till they all abandon you, then you come back to Him. We live in perilous times. We live in the times we live in is just something else. So we need Jesus, and that's the whole message of the song. I mean, I received the song at a point in my life when I thought I was swaying a bit away from what He wanted me to do as past that He had set for me, and I feel that it's a timely song that God is bringing people back onto Himself. He's bringing the minds of people back onto Himself. Part of the verse says, he say, "Mijifu Yesu mi crowd of food, and when Isha mi majin kwa mi ni obi obi chuchaji mi ring in ashe omu." Then it goes on to say, "Mihiawu Yesu." Then my favorite part is the second and the bridge that says, "Susum konkron be shemema bi menina mi hu ye." Do you speak Twi?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bi menina mi hu ye cheme wa kwan na me mfaso na mama brabo enso weni. Wow. And then the last part that says, uni meja padi menida so ode me kon so ehunju. So wanje me ojifoni ho me rain na ehye. So it's more of a prayer. At the same time, it's more like a call also for prayer. And so it's a very, for me, it's a very, I don't know about this, but it's a very sensitive song for me. And we've sort of like had amazing testimonies already. It's been a week since we released Minhiawu Yesu, and it's already been a great blessing to many lives. And we're trusting God that it would even go further to bless more lives. And so that's the intro that we have for the year. Nice. There's more coming up. We're trusting God to have a new album for this year. And then we do an annual Praise Reloaded, which we do in June. And then we have our outreach event in December, where we go to a rural area, be a blessing to a life. We do the free medical screening. We do like clothing and stuff we share. And then we have a concert before we leave. So normally it's a Friday to a Sunday in December. So
last year you did it in...
last year we did it in Hull.
Do you know where you're going to go this year?
We're yet to come up with that. And then we have our last event for the year, which is a Christmas concert on the 25th.
Nice.
So we started last year.
Okay.
And then we intend to keep it rolling every year. So, and a few other projects.
Okay. We're excited about it. So is marriage going to be on the plans?
A few other projects in between.
So is marriage going to be in the few other projects?
No, you see, there's a reason why I don't give out dates and time about those things. It'll be like an album. I'll launch it. I'll just launch it like that. So before you hear that I'm launching an album, so you hear it like, when I'm about to release an album, I never say anything until I have a date for the release of the album, and that's how it was going to be.
Wow.
It'll be like,
that's it. So we just see you have a reborn. So there's a lady in the shadows. Yeah. How long have you been dating her?
For a while.
How specific is a while?
You see, for a while.
Did you meet her in church?
Did I meet her in church? Where did I even meet her? No. When you do that, I'll give out the clues. No, one day I'll come on your show. I'll just talk about relationship. Invite me another time.
I like the sound of that, but
we'll do a full discussion.
I want to know if you met. Is it?
No, it wasn't in church.
Was it
but she's Christian.
An outreach program?
No, not an outreach program. They just say a crowd it's like Accra. No, you don't do it.
Did you meet her at a program?
No, you see, those things, I would have told you. This is not a big deal. Yeah, but the whole point of proposing a toast, and I've done everything on TV, I've messed up everything. What will be the surprise? You're not supposed to know till the day of the wedding. Then you propose a toast. You tell where you met the woman.
See, you can give a teaser. You can say that. Oh, I was walking on the streets. I would have spoiled the
whole surprise.
And then I saw.
I'll send you a special invitation for the wedding. Don't worry. When it's up.
So you are saying this on camera.
When it's up, I'll send you a special invitation.
So if you don't, what will happen?
It means that you were not in town.
Wow.
If you don't get it, you were not in town.
Okay.
Thank you for the word so sweet.
My God. Okay, I'm going to leave it there. But moving into clarifying the rumors. So I decided to, do a bit of research about you. And so a few rumors popped up. Headlines popped up. And I'd like you to clarify the headlines. Because sometimes people get it wrong. Other times they may be spot on the money. So first headline I saw. In a recent interview, you apparently stated that the building of cathedrals is as of importance as building of a hospital. And I wanted to know, is that exactly what you said, or was it taken out of context?
It's always taken out of context.
Please tell me what you
So they asked,
meant.
Which one should they do? I said they are both important. That's all I said. I said cathedral is important. A hospital is important. I didn't say they are as important as. He said, is a cathedral, building a cathedral is important? I said, yes, it's important. He said, building a hospital is important. I said, yes, building a hospital is important.
But which one do you think
decide,
should come first?
No, so the government, it's the government's decision to choose which one they want to build first.
But the government is you. You are part of the government.
No,
you are the people.
You think I'm part of the government? No, wait. Did you say I'm part of the government?
The people are the government.
Did you say I'm part of the government?
I said the people. The people of Ghana make up.
I'm not part of the government. If I was part of the government, there are lots of decisions would have made by now. Like changing the royalty so that I can get more money. And then I'm not part of the government. The government makes these decisions. Sometimes there are things we can say. The final decision will lie with the government.
But you think moving forward with the cathedral when we have a
the
whole
point is this,
lot of issues.
If I'm not mistaken, I recently heard that the cathedral is not being built by government. Is that true?
Largely, it's supposed to be by donor funds.
So I don't know where the argument is coming from.
But there's still going to be some part of
which one?
Taxpayers' money that will go into the.
Are you sure? No. Then you've missed your research. No.
Okay.
The money is being raised from individuals to build the church.
Largely.
People who believe in the vision, they are given money.
But there's a committee that's been put in place.
Exactly. So my point is,
the money that we are looking for, at least until we figure it out. I mean, the plans. How are the plans made? The man must have taken money.
Okay, let me explain to you.
Okay, please.
There's a committee that's put together. Okay. The committee that believes in the vision of building the cathedral. This committee, they are the ones that are like the soliciting for funds, doing events across the world, raising money to do the cathedral. Do you get it? So it's not government.
But if that money could be channeled into other things, would you be in support of it?
Would the people giving for the cathedral, would they give for other things?
Perhaps.
That's what you need to ask.
Perhaps.
No, would they give?
Perhaps.
If they will, then another committee needs to be set to go around to do that. Okay. Did you get it?
Yeah.
So these people believe that that's what they want to do. So they've set off to go do it. I believe that if there are other people out there who also believe in other projects that we need to do, that would also go out there and do it. If it means that the money is there, we can raise more and do more. You get it? I would have said, but then let's keep it that.
Okay, all right.
So they are raising. So the money is not coming from government. So I think that whole argument of the fact that prioritization and it's just from.
Had the money been raised by government, would that have changed or had changed your opinion about the?
If the money had been raised by government, would talk about that one. But for now, it's not being raised by government. Let's do it when government raises it. We'll talk about it.
Okay. So going to another headline that says, one corner is backed by evil spirits. You went on to, apparently you were quoted saying, actions bring out the effects of the spirit controlling. It is weird. It is proper weird. When the song is played, I'm like, where is everyone going? Or what is everyone doing? According to you.
That's what they said. People like I was asked a question.
Okay.
And this is what I told them.
Yes.
That there's a spirit that backs every music. That's all I said. Every music has a spirit behind it. If it's not the spirit of God, then it should be another spirit. That's it. That's what I said.
Do you think songs like One Corner...
Every song has a spirit behind it.
Okay.
Every single song. You can... People sometimes don't believe it, but it happens. If you've really listened to some of these international artists and everything, sometimes it's later than they start speaking that they start probably admitting some of the things, taking over them and blah, 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 and blah, blah. There's a spirit behind every song. I don't know which spirit is behind the song that they're using. I know that the Spirit of God is behind my music.
Okay.
So would you say the Spirit of God is behind the music, One Corner?
Well, I wouldn't know. I don't think so.
So there should be some spirit behind it. I don't know which spirit.
Okay, so we're going to go into games now. This game we're going to play is Who Is This? So basically, we're going to show you a particular personality, and you have to figure out who it is within the time allocated, which is like 2 seconds. But okay, starting off with
Tyler Perry.
Hey, the man knows it's Tyler. Okay, it is Tyler Perry. All right, so the next one is.
I know this guy.
Who is
Ed Sheeran or something.
It is Ed Sheeran. Actually, I know that.
Yeah,
okay, so it is Ed Sheeran. Yeah.
Can you? Is it a Can you?
It is Hey. Okay. Who's this gentleman? It is Adebayo. It is Adebayo. E.A. Adebayo. Emmanuel Adebayo. Yeah, you're almost there. Huh?
Who that?
This one may catch
This
you.
one, no.
This one may catch you. Hey.
Forget this guy. Who's that?
Adekunle Gold.
Oh,
yes,
okay,
it is. You have it, man. So the next person. Oh, that's it. Hey, 4 out of 5. Chai, you did well. You did well. High five. You came and you almost scored. It was close, but it doesn't matter. We will finish it up. But we're gonna go into some random questions. So I'm gonna ask you a few random questions and. Hopefully get some answers. So, what kind of music are you currently listening to on your iPod? Or iPhone, or what song is on your playlist in your car?
In my car, not my music.
Yes, apart from your music.
I think Never Alone.
Okay. Alright. Any other?
Oh, I'm listening to My Defense by Kwesi Otini as well.
Okay. Okay, so what has been the biggest sacrifice you've made for fame?
Hey, that's a very serious question. I don't think I will be able to answer. Because I've never thought of something like that before.
Okay.
Biggest sacrifice. One day I'll say it. Not today.
What's the one thing you regret?
That I didn't learn the instruments well.
Okay.
Because at the point I didn't know I was going to really use it, so I didn't take them serious. Today I sit back and I'm like, I wish I learned it. I didn't take my music class serious actually when I was growing up. We used to tease our music teachers and all that.
So you wish
if you
could go back in time?
I would learn them well so I can write music.
I like that.
I don't read music.
Okay. Who's your celebrity crush?
Wow. I haven't thought about that.
Which female celebrity do you go, Hallelujah, holla back.
I haven't thought about that too.
Okay. Do you have a favorite artist apart from yourself?
Not one. I have a lot of them. So.
Name 3.
That's a difficult question now. On top of my head, it will be hard. It'll be really hard.
Everything is hard.
I know, like these questions are like killer questions. Killer cat.
Okay. First job. Your first ever job.
You're asking me the first
Yes, your first ever job that you had.
Phone cards.
You were selling
It
phone
was
cards?
a job, yeah. That was the first employment. Yeah, I was selling phone
Were
cards.
you any good at it?
Yeah, I've always been a good marketer.
Okay.
So we sold phone cards and like SIM cards.
Okay.
Then it was a big business. Now it's not.
Your first ever gig?
I don't think I can remember. There's been too many.
Your first trip?
To Abuja?
Perhaps.
Oh, my first trip was to Nigeria. Yeah,
How was that?
It was good. I went to Asaba. I remember very well.
Okay.
It was, I think, my first major travel. Yeah.
What's the craziest?
Oh, no. It wasn't my... Okay, as an artist.
As an artist.
Yes, then that. But before that, I had traveled with other musicians.
Okay.
Yeah.
What's the craziest thing you've ever heard about yourself?
That I've been married before and my wife left me.
Wow.
No, it wasn't that yeah. There was one before that I was married and I had left my wife and kid somewhere else and I've come to live in Accra.
Wow.
He said then I used to be based in Koforidua. I was like, Koforidua is a place I don't even know anybody there. He said the guy says he knows me. My wife is in Koforidua with my child and I've left and I'm now staying in Accra. So I think the person thought that I was a can or something. Charlie, so those two crazy stuff, yeah.
What platform have you been the most excited to perform on?
I think for me, everyone is exciting for me. Like whether big, whether small, or it's the same God, same size of God. So it's always exciting. But I think some have been challenging. Rather.
Which one has been the most challenging?
A few have been, especially when you're in a place where there are no Ghanaians. Like you have a huge crowd and everyone there's like majority of the people are not Ghanaian. I think the last one I did was probably in London. It was like the Festival of Life. It was like thousands of people, between 30 and 40,000 people in one place in London, and it was a Nigerian church. It's a redeemed, so you can imagine. But
yes.
It's the same God, so it worked.
First love.
First love. She's watching. She's watching.
Is your first love the one you're about to marry?
No. Is that first love?
Yes.
First love is a church. It's a church. First love church. No. My first love is married crowd with kids.
Oh.
Yeah.
What went wrong?
It's a long story. We need to wipe all the interview we've done to do a new one.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. We'll get back to it.
On time.
Okay. Finally, I'm going to ask you a few things, and you have to say the first thing that pops into your mind.
Okay.
So, say I say AJ, you can say pretty.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, let's start. Church.
Assemblies.
Twitter.
Hey. Twitter hashtag.
Facebook.
Live.
Kitty.
Tender.
Leonardo.
President.
Mahama.
Former president.
I still didn't get you.
NDC.
Dr. Baumia.
Economy.
Oh my God. Okay.
Why you laughing? That's the next one.
Luigi.
I don't think. Oh. Bononi.
VGMA.
Artist of the year.
Okay. Kwame Eugene.
Confusion.
Family.
Love.
And on that note, thank you so much for being an absolute incredible guest, Joe. It was a pleasure having you here.
So guys, on that note, we'll wrap up the
Take over the show.
Hall of Fame. So on that note, thank you so much for watching Hall of Fame, and we'll catch you again next time.
Okay.
Stay glued. Take care.
Wow.
Don't go nowhere. Just stay behind your TV until we come back to you again.
Wow.
Thank you.
Thank you. And on that note, I don't even need to wrap up, but you know what? Let me just do it for fun. Thank you so much for coming, Joe Mettle. You are incredible. You should honestly consider hosting as a
I'm not a stable guy. That's why.
That's
I
why.
move countries.
Okay. So
I'm still thinking about it.
One holiday, let's host together.
Let's make it happen.
I like the sound of that. Alrighty, and thank you for tuning in. And I hope you certainly had a great time, because I know I did. It's been Hall of Fame coming to you from Apartamento Hotel here in Airport Residential Area. When you're thinking comfort, you're thinking a place to lay your head, perhaps have a nice weekend getaway, think Apartamento Hotel here in Airport Residential Area. They're looking forward to welcoming you with open arms. My name is AJ Sarpong. Today I came your way with my guest Joe Mettle right here on Hall of Fame. We're on every Saturday 5 p.m. right here on City TV, so make a day with me next week as I bring another incredible personality that you must absolutely love. It's all fun right here on the show. You can get interactive by simply tweeting at me at AJ Sarpong. Until I come your way again, keep watching City TV. Mwah.